Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to Week 9, Introduction to Business Online, offered by Harper College. We'll be covering Chapter 14 and 15. 14 is on pricing, and 15 is on distribution. It's going to be a very interesting chapter. It's going to be a continuation. Remember, now we're start working on building your feasibility study. So last week we did the SWOT analysis. Most of you had a real good did very well on the strengths, weakness, and opportunity. Some of you were still kind of a little mixed up with, or a little bit needed a little more clarification on what your strengths from a marketing perspective. Sure, when I'm going, there's two ways you have to look at your strengths and weakness. One is the managerial strengths, which an investor or a bank or someone that's going to invest into your organization wants to make sure that once they give money or capital investment for this venture project or business or new service, who is going to be able to make this happen. The other one that we're building on right now for the feasibility is going to be looking at the strength of your product or your service or your business. So this is what I want, and I made some clarifications in the, what do you call it, within the form. So remember, so now we're going to look at the pricing. And we're going to look at pricing, and you're going to look at the distribution. Distribution, you're not going to be tested on it, but it'll give you some idea. You're usually at the end of the retail chain. You're the last person that the customer sees, or the first person that the customer sees, because all the rest of the distribution channel is like from the warehouse and manufacturing and all that. Remember, anytime I add a utility, or a person within the distribution chain, there's a dollar amount that's added for him or her or for that business or that venture to make this process go for, to add to the distribution. So, okay, so let's start again. So we're going to click on week 9. And there's something, I made a few changes here. So week 9, you're going to have this quick overview you're watching. I've updated this overview. This is one without the Camtasia Relay, where I could actually show you the screen. Instead of just lecturing and talking, you could actually see what I'm talking about. So we're going to go on here. So that's an outdated one. You'll have a new one when you're looking at this one. And now what you're going to do week 9, you're going to have an overview. Remember, always click the overview. The overview gives you a detailed information in written format. This is just a quick summarization that some people enjoy utilizing. You're going to have 2 forums. Before I go into the forums, you're going to have 2 connects worth 23 points. I think it's really 25. It's not changing. One's a Learn Smart. I give you, here it says 13 points, but in reality it's really 15 points. So the Learn Smart is, you take it as many times. You keep on taking it until it tells you not to take it anymore. And remember, because Learn Smart, if you go into the McGraw, the Connect area I have explaining Learn Smart, those who we've done Learn Smart before, it's an integrated software that helps you learn. So if you answer the questions right, or the software thinks that you're not very comfortable, or you guess at the questions, down within the process is going to ask you the same questions again. And this is, look, it's not to trick you, it's to help you learn. Remember, this course here, Introduction to Business, is a foundational course when you take me for organization behavior, consumer behavior, when you take me for HR, when you take me for management. You have to understand how all the functionalities or disciplines of a business interact. And once you understand that, then when you just look at the HR section, you look at the marketing section, you understand how you are a piece of the whole. Okay? So you have one Learn Smart that's 13, 15 points, and then you have a regular Connect. And this Connect, I think I've tried it some way before, but it's more of a presentation Connect. It's not the drag and drop. It's not a video. It's almost like me lecturing for you. All right? And then I have been including the short YouTubes, which basically cover the chapters area. Make sure you click in on that area. It gives you a quick overview of chapter 14 or 15, what I feel is important. I may not cover all the details. I utilize the mind map, but I say out of this whole chapter, if you have to remember anything, these are the most important aspects of the chapter. The whole chapter is important. You should know it all. But the main point at this level in your learning at Harper College, this is what's important, okay? So we have that. Now we're going to go back into, so you've got the Connect. You only have one quiz today. Now the quiz is a little bit different, because I know there's some people, I'm not saying this group, because it's a nice group, but some of you have been the quiz I set up working from a pool. So now I have a pool of 50 questions. So you basically will go in there. Each question is multiple choice questions. Each question is worth 2 points. But some students, you may have friends online and you're working together. And that's not really the way you're going to learn. You should learn on your own. So what I've done is pool. So you could be sitting next to your friend, him or her, boyfriend, girlfriend, or just friends. And when you click on the exam and the quiz, each one will have a different question, because it's a pool. Similar to all multiple choice questions, they're all medium questions, but they're out of a pool of 50. There's going to be 10 questions. They're going to be worth 2 points each. So remember, so that's what changed. And this is no different. It's like in business. You always adjust your business. Remember, we're already at week 9, so most of you already know what's going on. You're already through the process. Now you should go forward. You already been socialized, for lack of better words, when you're taking for organizational behavior. And so now you understand the system, you know what's required, and you're doing very well on that. Okay, so we're going to go back on here. I'm going to go back to week 9. And now what I'm going to be talking about is, so you have to connect the lectures. Make sure you always use the mind maps. You have the PowerPoint. Let's look at the forms. The forms changed a little bit. Nothing's changed the forms. You still get 20 points. But what I'm beginning to notice that you're looking more at quantity. Most of you say, I could put in 15, 20 posts, and Dr. G will give me full 20 points. And I looked at that. So wait a minute, 15, 20 points. You replied, yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's a great idea, or you should do that. But you don't put any substance. You're not utilizing any vocabulary. You're not learning any. You're utilizing any of the learning you've learned out of the chapter. So here's what the forms. I adjusted the points and I added another category that's worth 3 or 4 points. So you still get the 20 points, but the points have been adjusted. The grammar, most of you got grammar checks, spell checks, you're doing very well on the grammar. So I reduced those points, but I added on other points to the process. And what I've added on is I'm looking at the average post. So when you're looking at doing your posts, some of you, I understand, sometimes you only could have 2 or 3 sentences, but most of I'm beginning to see a majority of you are just giving me 1 sentence or 2 sentences. That's, within the post responding, not giving any kind of substance or any kind of help to the person that you're replying to. So now you're going to have a category that's worth 3 or 4 points. If you have 400 or more words overall, all your forms. So the system, the Blackboard already says, I'm not looking at, I'm looking at your 9 to 10 required posts at 2 different days, but what I'm looking at that on those posts you have a minimum of 400 or more words. When they take an average of all your posts, you should have a minimum of 400 words. I haven't hit the maximum yet, because some people, on the maximum you have 2 levels. You'd be surprised. Some of you are only doing 200 words out of all your 9 posts. That's not really a post. That's just like a Twitter account or something else. You just send it real quick. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I went to a Starbucks or I went to McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, and I had some cheeseburgers or whatever. You got to give it some substance. Remember, part of this is to improve your written communication, and part of it is how to improve so when you're communicating in business and you're talking back and forth to individuals, they understand, hey, this person has knowledge, this person is a problem solver, this person could evaluate, this person has some business understanding, okay? So that takes care of us for this week, and I'm under 8 minutes. It's going to be real short YouTube, so that shouldn't take me too long to load up. Okay, so here's what we have. Remember, you're doing well on the forms. You have this. Now the next one, remember, in this form here, you're going to be looking at your pricing. I explained the pricing and everything else in the forms. So if I'm looking at the pricing in the form, let me look at the. Let me go back. I still have. I forgot to do this. Okay, so when I'm looking at the pricing, you're going to have to come up with an average price of your goods. I understand that if I'm a bakery, I got different prices. I have what do you call it in a bakery? I have cakes, I have cookies, I have everything else. So I have different product lines. So what you're going to find out when you go from the market, you got different product lines, which makes a product mix, which gives you your bakery. When I come into to the bakery, I understand what my product mix by different product lines. What I want to do with the pricing at this level here, so you have a general idea, is could this business be sustainable? You have to look at an average customer that comes into your store. What is going to be his or her average price cost? So if I walk into a bakery, I usually spend maybe $12. You know, if I buy a dozen of donuts and a roller or a newspaper or something else, so about $12 on average. And some customers, so that's me. Other customers may spend only $1, you know, one donut. Others may spend $30. But you're going to take the average pricing, and then you're going to come up with says an average price for a customer that comes in, just like I'm doing with your what do you call it, forum post. An average customer will spend maybe $15 in my bakery, $20 in my bakery. How many customers do I anticipate coming in? I understand. Remember, some are going to spend more, some are going to spend less, but on an average. This is the same way when you're going to be doing any kind of, if I'm doing a service, or it's going to be, you know, when you're trying to find out the average cost of my workforce. Some of my workers are going to be working a real efficient workers, some are slower. But I take the average, so when I come up and I bill the customer and say, here for your service, this is what's going to be an average cost for my for me to do the service. Understand I'm going to have some highs and lows, but I'm doing the average, so at least I can estimate. So do you see where I'm looking at the average cost? So you're going to come up with an average cost. And that average cost, you're going to tell me how many customers are going to be coming in there for the dinner, and I kind of explain this. And then you're going to look at the other the other part, what kind of pricing. Most of us as a new business, look, in a real business, you're going to have, for every product, you're going to have every product line, every product, you're going to have a cost associated. I'm not breaking you down here. I'm just going to give you an idea to see if I want to open up a business, could I sustain? If I get 50 customers and the average cost is a 20, this will at least take care of my rent, my employee, my break-even point. Anything above and beyond is going to be just my what do you call it? Input or expenses to make the product. So once I break my break-even point, everything else is just my is going to be next. What do you call it? I get stuck on my word. Is going to be my profitability after my expenses. All right. So you're going to have this, and remember, post the other individuals, try to start using the terms and conditions. Because if you're looking at the new rubrics, it's the same rubrics, I added one more line, the points are adjusted. I'm focusing on more that you're at least giving some information, that you're responding to the individual with something that from a business perspective makes sense, that will change my business, change the way I'm thinking, or give me another viewpoint that I'm looking at, I'm working and going the correct way. All right, so we're doing pretty good. You're in week 9. You only have a few more weeks. I think like this is a 16-week course. Week 9, I figure maybe about what do we have? About like 7 more classes or 6 more classes, and we should be good because I think the last week is the 16th week is your final. All right. So we're doing pretty good. Keep it up. Hey, you're past the midpoint. Don't drop down. It's like a runner running in a marathon. He's running, keeping a pace. You're keeping a pace, and now you're coming to the finish line. You have to pick up the pace, otherwise the people in the back are going to pass you up. Some people are slow, and they pick up the pace now. So now's the time to get up your points, bring up your points, get everything else, do as many points. You understand what's going on. You know the process. Maximize all the points. Do the forms, and do everything else. And this week you're going to have a water cool forms if there's any kind of questions or anything else. Usually at this end, students want to know, hey, what's the final about, or is it going to be an online final? It is going to be an online final. What are we be covering and everything else? All right. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and we're in week 9. Introduction to Business Management 111. You're taking me online or as a hybrid class, but you're doing very well. Keep up the good work. Focusing on the forums, do your connects, do your, remember the connects are open all the way to Saturdays. Your exam should be finished by, I mean the connects are open to Sundays, your exam should be finished by Saturday midnight. Sometimes I forget to turn them off and they're open until Sunday, but don't bet on that, all right? And have a nice week going forward, and I'll see you within the forums. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is Management 111, offered online by Harper College, Illinois, utilizing Blackboard Course Management System. Bye.